Right.
All right. So how to actually stick to your New Year's resolutions. So what exactly are you looking for when you make a resolution? I want you to think about that. What are you looking for? We choose New Year's resolutions because it's a way for us to feel good about today. Resolutions are usually done, in the spur of the moment, right? Without much thought or even planning. And most of the time they're really unrealistic, which often is kind of like doomed to failure from the get-go. So there's some things that we, would like to see different in our lives. That's why we create this promise to ourselves, this resolution. And, when we make it, it helps us to feel good about ourselves in the moment. And this is what happens at the end of the year. There's something that about the year that we reflect on. It was like, ooh, I don't feel good about that. Right.
Can you relate, anybody?
Right. And unfortunately, 10% of those who make these promises to themselves each year, only 10% are actually the ones who achieve it. And the research shows, like Lisa said at the beginning, that most people give up by the second week of January.
Not you ladies watching though, right? We're going to be in that 10%, yep. Aren't we?
And by the day 30, 75% of people throw in the towel, right? Boo. So we really want to talk about what's going on here.
All right, ladies, how many of you have actually set a New Year's resolution? January 1st is knocking on our door. Oh my goodness, December 30th today. Have you set something? If you have, let us know in the comments what you're working towards. A real common one is we get through the holidays, right? We've ate all the goodies, maybe gained some holiday weight. And what do we say? I'm just going to enjoy myself. January 1st comes around and I am going to lose that weight. I'm going to lose extra weight. I'm going to feel better than ever. You make this promise to yourself. You're going to enjoy the cookies and the snacks. And then when January 1st rolls around, you're making a change. Anybody ever said that one?
Right? I mean, seriously, I think I've said those exact words to myself before.
No more Christmas cookies.
Right? It's like, oh, it's the end of the year. It's okay. It's a New Year's. I'll make it. And what does that do? That helps us feel good in the moment. It's kind of like give us a little bit of an excuse. Oh, it's okay if I don't work out for these 2 weeks. I'll just take them off because it's Christmas.
Like we give ourselves that.
Right? It's like, oh, New Year's.
I'm just going to enjoy it.
Right? Oh, it's so funny how we do that. We're just, So we make this promise and then, and then that makes it okay to do those things. But, one thing that really what happens at the beginning when you're making these resolutions is that you're doing it from the perspective still of who you are right now. Okay. So which ends up creating a conflict within ourselves. We cause ourselves pain. When we make conflict, we cause ourselves pain, which causes our brain to resist because our brain is wired to seek pleasure over pain and taking the path of least resistance. So ladies, if you don't stick to your resolutions, just know that it's not even 90% of people are not really sticking to their resolutions or have not achieved their resolutions because of this very, very reason. We're wired to seek pleasure over pain and take the path of least resistance, right? So when we make a promise to ourselves, and we break it because it's too painful to make the changes that we actually need to do.
Absolutely, ladies. And you can use that statistic to your favor or not. So you could say, oh, well, I'm in the 90% of people that don't stick to their resolutions. That's okay. I'm normal. Or you can say, you know what? I know better. I'm going to do better. And I'm going to fall in that 10% of people that actually follow through. Are you with us on that one?
Who wants to be a 10%er? Woo. Yeah.
I'm guessing you all do, or you wouldn't be here.
And so resolutions don't have to be painful. Okay. So that's one thing that we want to say. This is an NLP technique is reframing. So right from the get-go, you want to be sure that you're reframing and not looking at as a painful as you're going through the process, because it really can be pleasurable and rewarding. It really can. When you achieve those things and you make it happen, it feels so good, right? But unfortunately, most of us have not done that. So we have created these limiting beliefs within our head. Oh, I never do. Have you ever said this? I never do what I say I'm going to do. Oh, things never work out for me, or I can't follow through with anything, right? Or
that's just how I am.
Yeah.
Everyone in my family's like that.
Yep, exactly. And I'm not disciplined enough, right? And,
I just can't lose weight. So
oh, yeah, right?
I'm
And
big
that,
boned. That's just how I am.
and such limiting beliefs. And those are our excuses. Those are our path to least resistance.
And that's the part of yourself, what you have to understand. We all have a negative and a positive part to ourselves. It's just how we're all wired. And all those stories, excuses, are the negative part of yourself wanting to take the easy route. It's so much funner and better and less work to put my feet up and watch Netflix and eat the cookies and lounge around all day. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Funner, actually a word. It's funner.
I was going to say more fun, but
funner.
We make up words every once in a while, ladies. We're both good at that. So another problem is with most resolutions, though, is the lack of planning. People don't make a plan. They do it off the cuff. They do it, in the spur of the moment, and there's no plan of action. And this is a problem. This is a problem. So you may say something like, yeah, I'm going to lose this 20 pounds that I gained this year, and I'm going to do it by eating right and going to the gym 5 times a week. And then they stop there. There's no actual plan of action. And then this creates that lack of vision for the brain and no path toward achieving your goal. So it's super important. Well, we'll get into that in a moment, because we are going to share with you 5 ways that you can actually create some success here.
Yes, this is good stuff, ladies. Hopefully you're taking notes. Save this video so you can come back if you don't have a pen and paper handy. Get this out to your lady entrepreneur friends and your teams, because this is going to help everybody, if you take action on it, achieve your goals in 2021.
Yeah.
And really, all resolutions it's like setting a goal. I want to do this thing for myself. So we're going to help you do that. And here's the thing is
promise. It's kind of a promise to yourself.
Promise,
really. Yeah.
And one of the reasons that we break this promise to ourselves, over 90% of people statistically break this promise, is we try to make too many promises, too many resolutions, too many changes. And then your brain is not wired for that. It just goes, what is that? It's kind of like if you could think of a cartoon, a little robot, and it just melts down and shuts down. It's kind of what your brain does. It's like, oh my God, too much overload. The computer is not working. I'm shutting it down. I need to conserve energy here. How many of you have done that? I'm taking out everything I eat now. I'm working out 7 days a week. I'm going to work out an hour. Maybe I'll work out twice a day. I'm going to do all these things. Oh, and then I'm going to do this, this, and this. You got this huge list of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And week one goes by, you're like, I got this. And then all of a sudden you're falling back and you're not doing those things.
Ladies, we've all been there, right? We've all been there. So here are 5 steps that you should take when wanting to be one of the few who succeed in making their resolutions a reality.
Are you with us? Are you going to be in the 10%? Hashtag 10%. Are you claiming it? That's really step number 1 before we get into this. You have 10%. To decide that this thing that I say I'm going to do is getting done. Yes. I've decided. It's a done deal. Decide. You have to decide right now. Make a decision.
Let's see it in the comments. Let's see it. Come on, let's see it. Who's doing it?
And that's really step number 1. Pick one.
Yes.
One thing, not 15. You have to give your unconscious mind one outcome to focus on at a time.
Yes.
Can we all do that? One. I know we're all big achievers here and we want to do big things and we want 25 things. Like we want this to be the best year ever. But if you want to stick to it, start with one.
Yeah. And then when you achieve that, if you want to do more, you can do more. But you're
going to feel so much better if you do the one than setting 10 and do none.
Exactly. If you say, yes, I want to lose, I want to lose 10 pounds, I want to, whatever, I want to become more organized. I want to, start eating vegan like Lisa, or, whatever it is, that's a lot of stuff all at once. And your brain gets confused and it's just not enough. There's nothing to focus on. There's a confusion. You need clarity, right? So pick one and make it public, like declare it. Like we're asking you to declare it. Pick one and declare it, because that's going to hold you accountable. Like you're going to know, like I told the world, I said this on social media. I told
And why
everybody.
is it some of us
Yeah.
shy away from doing that? Is it because in our mind we're going, I probably won't follow through, so I don't want to tell people?
Ooh, ouch, ouch.
And do you know the worst promise that you can break is actually to yourself, not to other people. Every time you don't follow through with a promise to yourself, you're training your brain that you are someone who doesn't stick to their word, that doesn't follow through with their word, and that your word means nothing.
Ooh.
So that is accountability to yourself, promises to yourself. That is the most important thing. We have to train our brain that when we say we're going to do something, we do it.
Yep, exactly. Good one. All right, this second thing here. So here's the second step. So the first one is pick one, right? Pick one and declare it. Publicly. Step number 2. This is huge. Create a plan. Create a plan. Planning is really key here to your success. You've got to think of that outcome, whatever that final goal is, and make it a SMART goal, right? Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, realistic, yes, and time bound, time measurable, right? You want to make sure that you're sticking to the SMART. That's a great goal system to stick to. I find it to be one of the best. And, decide ahead of time, what you're going to achieve, and give yourself a deadline. Give yourself a deadline, and then go to where that deadline is and make a plan going back. How am I going to achieve this? Give yourself a final deadline, make some other deadlines, give yourself a plan of action on where you're headed and how you're going to get there. Because
this is so important, ladies, because a goal is not, I want to lose weight. This doesn't give your unconscious mind anything to work towards. And we all have our conscious mind, and consciously right now, I'm in the moment here. I know what's going on. I'm making a conscious decision, but most of us, well, all of us operate unconsciously. Like 95% of our day is unconscious. It's like habits. And your subconscious mind wants to do things for you. So if you say, I want to lose weight, and you lose a pound, your unconscious mind says, okay, we've done it. Yes. I want to make more money. You find a dime on the ground and your unconscious mind says, all right, we've done it. We're good. You got to be specific.
Yep.
Very specific. Give your mind something to work towards.
Yep. I want to get organized. I clean out my drawers, and then you're done. And then a week later, they're a mess again. Right?
Can any of you relate to any of those things?
It's common. It's common. So that's why it's really important to be specific here and make a plan of action. How are you going to get there? How are you going to achieve this? Really important to have a plan. Ladies, so many people don't make plans with their resolutions. And what ends up happening if they don't have a plan, they have no direction. And so they just wing it. Oh, a lot of people do this with their businesses too, right? Ooh. And they just wing it, and just kind of like, it's like, taking that spaghetti and throwing it against the wall, hope that something's going to stick and actually achieve some part of the goal that they're looking for. That is not a plan. That is not a plan. It ends up being just a wish at that point, Oh, I sure hope one piece sticks to the wall. No, right? No, we're looking to be achievers this 2021, right? Those top 10 percenters here that are making their resolutions come true, a reality. So we need to have a plan of action. How many of you have ever actually, in the past, when you've created a resolution, made a written plan and make this a written plan, by the way, not just up here one day, you say, oh, I'm going to do this, and this, and this.
Write it down on paper.
How many of you have made a plan before, planned out your resolution? I'd be curious to see, because that's what successful people do. Okay. So if you haven't done it before, guess what? This is your year.
Absolutely. And here's another statistic for you, because we love our statistics here. You're 10 times more likely to achieve your goal, your resolution, if you write it down.
Ooh, That's huge. That's huge.
Most people don't do that. I believe it's less than 2% of people.
Yeah.
Ladies, we're giving you gold here to make some real changes if you take action on it. And that's the key. If you listen to this and do nothing, you've just wasted half an hour of your life. We appreciate you hanging out with us because we adore you all, but we want you to take action. We want you to get results. That's why we're here.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Exactly. So, all right. So here's the third step. Okay. Very important. You need to chunk it down. Chunk it down into realistic steps. If you make the plan just one big blah, it's going to be overwhelming. You have to chunk it down, right? An example, if you say that your resolution is, I'm going to, I'm going to get fit, and therefore I'm going to exercise every single day, and you haven't exercised in 3 years, right? I mean, you are setting yourself for failure in a situation like that. Seriously, we have to chunk it down, right? How can we chunk that down? What about starting with 2 or 3 times a week to creating a new habit?
This is what it's all about, ladies. Once you get into the routine of working out 2 times a week, you're in the flow, a month goes by, bump it up to 3.
Yes.
Work towards it. And I'm going to give you another little tip. How many of you want to start working out, want to get fit, want to lose weight? Let me know if that's you. I'm going to move my camera. Oh, hopefully I move it the right way. Can you see it? There's my shoes and some weights in my office. Give yourself a mental cue that that's what we do. That's just a little side tip. When you put it out, take your shoes out of the closet, ladies. Take your weights out. If this is something you want to start doing, put it somewhere if you have an office. And then when you walk in your office, you go, okay, it's giving your brain that mental cue. This is what we do.
So here's the thing. It's another NLP technique. So it's anchoring it. So, but here's the thing that you have to be really careful is because I have those too. I leave the weights for the same purpose like Lisa. This is what people do ladies, this is so golden. It's an anchor. So when you put your shoes down or you put the weights down, when you do that, don't just do it without intention. Okay. Put the weights down and saying to yourself, this is a reminder to myself that I'm going to work out Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, whatever it is that your plan of action is, right? This is a reminder to me. So then that way, when you see that, you're going to say, oh yeah, that's a reminder to me. If you just put it down without intention, you're not going to create an anchor. It's just going to be a piece of equipment on the ground. So create an anchor out of it. All right, ladies, this is a cool.
This is so good. And then one step further is you can attach it to something in your day. So for example, you put the kids on the bus at 8:00 in the morning. You can anchor that in when the kids go on the bus. That's when I do my workout. It's like, and I've heard a lot of women say that they've gotten out of shape during quarantine and their kids have been homeschooled because they lost their anchor. The kids don't get on the bus. That's when they worked out. You got to create something new if that was you and your kids aren't getting in the bus.
Oh, anchors are huge, ladies. So, this is good stuff. All of you are going to be, if you do these things, you will create success in your resolutions. I know it. I can feel it in my bones. I feel it. All right. So here is a really important step. This is the 4th step. Okay. And this one is like probably, I think it's the most important one. All right. Like we said at the beginning, the reason why you don't create that success is because you're many times you're taking it from the perspective of who you are right now. Right. So at this moment, you are the person who hasn't worked out for 3 years. Right. And then your
clothes don't fit.
Right.
And your tummy's hanging over your pants and you feel uncomfortable.
Exactly. And so as it goes on, it's like you're still seeing, even though you made this resolution and this plan, you still see yourself as this person who hasn't worked out, hasn't done these things, you're still here. So this step is what makes a switch for you here. You need to think of yourself as already having achieved this outcome. All right. You need to see yourself as the person who has done it. What is she like? How has her lifestyle changed? How has her life changed? How does she think? How does she feel? How does she act?
I tell you, she does not feel like this. I hate working out. I hate working out. Ugh. Oh, why can't it be any other way to lose weight? Ugh, I get so tired and I'm sore and it's just like the worst thing ever. I promise you, if you are saying things to yourself like that, you are not going to stick to what you say. I hate vegetables. I hate spinach. I don't want to eat healthy. I want all the junk food. If you don't reframe how you think about these things in your mind, visualize, and that's really step number 5. 4 and 5 kind of go together, is you have to rehearse your new habits in your mind. Visualize yourself working out and doing it. Mentally rehearse you going through that. See yourself fit, eating the vegetables, having this
create that picture first. You have to have that visual. It's so important to be able to see, feel, like make it sensory. You need to be able to know, what does it feel like to be, and I'm just using weight loss. We're using weight loss because it's the easiest one. Because
a lot of people can relate to this one.
Yeah.
One of the most popular ones going into the new year, I think.
Right. So if you're like, I want to lose 20 pounds, right? So what about finding a picture of yourself when you were 20 pounds less? Being
Put it as your wallpaper on your phone.
Exactly. Visualize what that feels like. Look at yourself in the mirror and write this out. Journal it out. I feel wonderful. My clothes fit great. I pull my jeans on and they're not tight. I can sit without my roll hanging over and it feels so good. It feels good. My clothes feel soft on my body. I don't feel uncomfortable. I look
good in my bikini.
Yes. I love making my green shakes in the morning. I just love smelling the fresh ginger as I'm making my shake. Whatever it is, create this visual picture for yourself and make it vivid, make it real, dial it up. Okay. Make it as real as you can. Put it on a screen, like a movie screen, so you can see this picture. And then actually, this is NLP again, ladies. We're teaching you some really cool techniques here. Step into the picture. Step into the picture and look out like that you have achieved it. You've done it. I'm her. I feel it. You can do this with anything, ladies. This is what we teach our women when we work with them one-on-one and in our group coaching programs. We teach them how to do all this. So this is an amazing technique. Step into who that is. Become her now. And then go to what Lisa's talking about, step 5.
Yes. And ladies, here is something you really have to keep in mind. So important. When you start doing this, when you start making a change, your subconscious mind doesn't want you to change. You have to be aware of this, because guess what's going to happen when you start making a change? That part of yourself, that negative part of yourself, is probably going to chatter in your ear and say, Lisa, just take a day off. You worked hard. Just have the cake. Just hit the snooze button 4 times. It's okay. Just let's watch Netflix. No, don't do that. And then if you listen, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to stick to the thing.
Yeah. So you have to be, and yeah, that's a really important piece. And, when that happens, I just want to say, this is really important. Even if you give in, it doesn't mean it's over. And that's what people do. They end up messing up. They end up sometimes listening to that voice that Lisa's talking.
Sorry, I missed that. Could you say it again, please?
Siri.
I wasn't talking to you, Siri.
Okay.
That's funny.
That was so funny. I don't know. She just decided to become part of the
She wanted to
conversation.
join the conversation here.
But
yes, don't give up, ladies.
Yes, it doesn't mean you have to just throw in the towel because you messed up. Or even if you messed up twice, or maybe even 3 times. You know what? Don't keep allowing yourself to mess up. Then you're giving yourself excuses. But because you messed up, it doesn't mean you have to give up. It doesn't mean you have to throw in the towel. You just begin again. Okay, you just begin again. All right, so this last step here, which Lisa had mentioned already, was reframing. Let's talk about reframing, because this is really a really cool mental practice that you can do, and it really helps you to create new habits. And so it's mental. I don't know if you want to say it, Lisa. I'm like, so mentally rehearsing. Now, this is what athletes do. Successful people do this. I mean, I've heard of surgeons doing this, all kinds of people, musicians, actors, all kinds of really people who master skills. This is what they do. They mental rehearse before they actually do the thing. So I want to do something with you all really quick. Okay. So really, really quick. I just want you all just to put your hands out like this. Just put your hands out in front of you. Okay. Put your hands out in front of you. And I want you to just reach back as far as you can without hurting yourself. Just reach back as far as you can and kind of notice where that's at, and then come back. Okay. Now I want you to just keep your hands out and close your eyes. And I want you to imagine doing the same thing, but going past right now. Go past that point that you passed before. Okay. Pass it. Okay. And then come on back. All right. Now open your eyes. Now let's do it again. Now I want you to reach back as far as you can go. Once more. Now what happened?
Did you go further?
Oh
I
my
did.
gosh. I went way further, right? That's mental rehearsing. That's what your mind can do. All right. It's powerful. So you can, when you rehearse it beforehand, you prepare yourself for success.
So see that workout as a done deal. Watch yourself working out, go through it, and then you're just going to power through your workout.
It's so true. It is so true. All right. So I went further. Exactly. That shows you, that little tiny exercise shows you the power of your mind, ladies. So practice mental rehearsing. All right. So this is great. We gave you 5 awesome steps here. Hopefully you jotted them down. If not, go back and watch this. Really super important. And one more last thing. When pain arises, because remember we talked about pain and pleasure, our mind is going to seek pleasure over pain, but you're going to have some pain. When you make changes, it's painful, right? Change is awesome, but there's pain involved. And so that's going to happen. So when you're feeling those pains, freaking A, give yourself a pat on the back. You're doing something right, not wrong. All right. When you're feeling that craving,
celebrate the pain.
Celebrate the pain. When you're feeling the desire to go and eat that pint of ice cream. I just want to go pick up Ben & Jerry's. I miss it. I just want it just once. That pain that you're feeling right there, just remind yourself, reframe it and say, you know what? This right here is a proof that I'm on my way to success. And in 3 weeks from now, I won't be thinking this anymore. This will be gone. All right. So look at the pain as a sign that you're on the right path.
Winning.
You're winning. Yeah. Okay. All right. Hopefully that y'all got all that down and you're ready to go and
let us know if you have any questions. We want to see you be in the top 10% of people who actually stick to their goals or resolutions.